Alright, Starstream, it's been a really long day. It's time for us to, play some games. Can we get some, Apex Legends up here? Come in, Starstream.
Take over. My channel.
Wake up, Starstream.
Oh! I was... Never mind. What the heck do you want?
Time to play some games, Warzone, Apex.
What? This is the retro room. You can't play modern games in here.
There's gotta be some way.
I found something called Rainway. Seems like it'll let you run your PC games from just about anywhere. Might be worth checking out.
As a subscriber, you may have noticed that my upload frequency on this channel has decreased, and along with that has been an exponential decrease in my available gaming time. As much as I record my videos here in the awesome retro room, my time actually spent playing video games in this room, any of them, has shrunk tremendously. So I've been looking for a way to play more games and get more game time in when I can't sit at my desk or at a TV or anything like that when I'm, taking care of a baby. Plus, with so many ongoing projects and my desk looking like this, I don't really have time to clean it up for non-work gaming. Mobile games are cool, but I want more variety. That's where Rainway, our sponsor for today's video, has actually been a huge lifesaver, and it's something that you can get up and running with and completely set up in 30 seconds, just a few clicks. It's pretty awesome. You just sign in, sync your accounts, and open up Steam or Origin or what have you. It detects all your games, and then you can just start adding clients like phones or iPads or anything and be up and running. There's a lot of ways you can play, and we'll cover them more maybe in another video, but there's two specifically that within the first few months of being a new dad here that I've really loved. First is their new TV support that they've rolled out recently, which supports Android TV, Fire TV, and Apple TV. So I've actually got a 4K Apple TV box here set up on our main living room TV, and with that, you can set up and stream your games as normal. You can pair a controller, play on your TV like it's a game console, but running PC games. Pretty cool stuff there. But what's interesting is the little Siri remote that comes with the Apple TV actually works as a mouse for point and click games. So you know what that means? That's right. When the baby's sleeping, I'm playing old school RuneScape. Which honestly has been the game that I've gotten the most, I would say, progress in since the baby has been born. Because when I was sitting at my desk when he was younger and would actually sleep, I could just hold him asleep at my desk and sit there and, click on RuneScape. Well, now he doesn't really like all the monitors being on and stuff, but I can still play it on the TV by just using the Siri remote. It's not the best control method ever, but it works. It's kind of cool. But otherwise, you can just pair virtually any Bluetooth compatible controller, including Xbox and Razer and PlayStation controllers and all of that. So you don't need to invest in any specific hardware. Like if you're already gaming with stuff, you probably have something that will work with it anyway. So you're good to go there. We can set up an Apple TV on our living room TV. I can move it up to the bedroom TV to play while I'm in bed. Why not? Heck, I can even game in the baby room.
Adam.
And boy, is it nice after a long day as I'm getting the baby to sleep to just sit there and play Flight Simulator on my TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking, and apologies for the inconvenience, but we're going to have to make an unexpected landing here as I'm currently rocking this baby to sleep, and piloting this plane is not working out. Prepare for landing in 3, 2, 1. No, don't wake up. Please don't wake up. Please don't wake up.
Cleared ILS runway 31.
Ooh. Now, I don't have flight control sticks or whatever, but a controller's fine. The second method that I've been playing a lot is actually with my iPad Pro. I got the new Magic Keyboard case with it, which props it up a little bit nicely so I can even set it on my couch if I need to. And I can just put it anywhere, have a controller with me, and start playing. And it even supports high refresh rate. So on the iPad Pro specifically, it supports 120 FPS, which is silky smooth and, what I'm used to over on the desktop for, the whole PC gaming advantage. And on my gaming phone that has 144 hertz refresh rate, I can push 144 hertz to that as well, which is pretty cool. But on the iPad, it's 120 FPS, 120 hertz, smooth as butter as long as your network is fine. And you can even use the keyboard on it to control certain things. I usually just use it to text chat while I'm in Apex or something like that. And it's pretty cool. There is on-screen controls as well for these touch devices. I actually prefer the or the controller method, as the aiming and stuff is a little bit more consistent. There's, touch controls kind of, if I can't feel them, I kind of struggle with them. But playing, most games that I'm used to playing on a mouse and keyboard, normally work fine on a controller anyway. Most games support controllers. And so that's fairly straightforward from there. And since you can add any, even if it doesn't auto detect your games in Rainway, you can add just about any, custom game listing to the software itself. You can have quite a bit of fun. So here is me streaming a PlayStation 3 game, Heavenly Sword, to my iPad Pro, running it much higher resolution and refresh rate than the PS3 could ever run it at. Just because. And that's not a game that's ever been ported anywhere else. And I'm playing with an Xbox One controller, because let's just break all the rules, shall we? Now, iOS specifically is limited to local network only, so LAN or Wi-Fi. But Android gamers can actually take it with you, and if you want to use your mobile data, which I don't have enough data for that, but if you want to use your mobile data, then you can stream over 4G LTE as well from your home computer, which is pretty fancy. Not too bad. In the settings, you do get control over the quality of your stream, so by default it's just kind of like on good enough. But you can go up to very pretty and then extremely pretty, which, as long as you have the network bandwidth to support, which I do on my gigabit, local network, looks very compelling. The default bitrate, you can kind of notice it's a compressed video stream, but the quality, once you crank it up to the highest setting, especially on an NVIDIA graphics card, which has that NVENC encoding, it looks phenomenal. And then you can control audio latency and things like that. Overall, the input latency wasn't too bad. Like, if I show the phone or iPad that I'm playing on right next to a 240 hertz screen that the game's normally running on, you can see a couple frames of difference, but really when I'm playing it, it doesn't feel, even on Apex with a controller, like, it feels like the normal controller lag, but that's about it. Like, I've gone back and forth on PC and PS4 playing Apex, so it feels like that difference, but overall it's fine. The frame rate held up, just fine. I mainly played on my iPad when I was monitoring frame rates, and I was getting 120 FPS through and through, no problems there. And which is really nice for games that support it. One of the things that I like the best, though, for situations like the emulator I was running, is that it actually passes through your controller to the system. So assuming everything's working right, I had one game, actually it was my phone, it was the gaming phone I was using, was not translating the inputs properly. So like, none of the buttons were mapped correctly, but that was on the phone specifically, because through Rainwave with every other device it works fine. So it was just that phone. It's never worked with controller pairing for some reason. I don't know what's up with it. But when you have it paired up and synced through Rainway, it actually passes your controller through to the system, and your computer doesn't know any different. Like, it thinks that it's plugged in. So when you're setting up in an emulator or a game like Sonic All-Stars Racing that requires manual controller setup, it still detects it as if it's native inputs. So there's really no issues mapping your controllers there, as long as you're using one that would normally detect and work fine in your PC setup. So I still can't game as much as I would like to overall, but the tools available with Rainway here have really kind of made it a lot easier to hop in and out, and that's been pretty great. And it's kind of cool to see an application of video encoding, especially with NVENC, which is my favorite, just be that useful on a home network scenario where I can go across different floors and things like that, and I'm just streaming the game to myself, and the quality is pretty solid when you want it to be. And if you are on a slower Wi-Fi, or you're playing really far away on your Wi-Fi and you have a lower signal, you can just lower the quality and be good to go, which is pretty neat. It passes all your sound through, all of that. Didn't really have any major hiccups. I will say there is some getting used to for those of you on devices with different aspect ratios, and I recommend setting your monitor to 16:9, or if you can match the aspect ratio of your target device before you walk away and go play. Playing on my ultra wide and then streaming it to my iPad, I ended up with situations where the game was running in ultra wide on my iPad, and then it was like super letterboxed, which you obviously don't want. But I did run into an issue where the gaming phone I was using was a 2:1 aspect ratio, and then the iPad Pro was a 16:10, I believe, or it's a 3:2, either way. And so the gaming phone had pillar boxing, and then sometimes would stretch it out even though it's not supposed to, and then the iPad would just have letterboxing. Now Rainway does give you control over that, so even though it would crop off the UI, you do have options to either stretch the game to fill your screen, to crop it off to fill your screen, or to just fit it as if it natively was. So if the black bars bother you too much and you don't mind a bit of stretching, you could just completely fill your screen. So you got all the different control options you want. You got keyboard and mouse on your iPad if you have it set up that way, it detected the magic keyboard automatically, and I was able to, control things and look and add in chat and things like that. You got virtually any controller you can pair with your device over Bluetooth. You can play on your TV, you can play on the go. I was quite impressed. I've been fairly resistant to join the, local game streaming scene. That sounds like what I normally talk about. The in-home streaming setup for video games, because before becoming a dad, I had no reason not to play natively with where I was playing. But these days, this has actually been a huge lifesaver, and I've had a lot of questions about, technology that has benefited me as a new dad, and I just wanted to share because this is one such thing that has made my life a little bit easier. Huge shout out to Rainway for sponsoring this video. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe for more tech education. I do have links in the description below where you can learn more about Rainway. Check it out for free. You can play for free, so that's pretty cool. And join their Discord to learn about new features and find people to game with, things like that. Join our Discord while you're at it as well. Subscribe, and I'll see you next time.